Like when a Jet player leaves, I want him to fail. When Sean Ellis, I loved Sean Ellis. When he went to the Patriots, I hated his face. Darrelle Revis, I hated him. And I wanted, when we traded Darrelle Revis to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers coming off that knee surgery, we played them game 1 that year, the following year. I think we should have thrown at Revis every single play. It should have opened with it, and we should have tested that knee right off the gate. And he would have been unable to handle it because, as we know now, with hindsight, he was not 100%. He was on the field. We could have exploited him and made that trade look even better. That's how I roll. Here's what I want to say about Pro Football Focus. Shut up already. Do your numbers, okay? Do your numbers. Tell us what your PFF score for the backup offensive lineman on the Los Angeles or Las Vegas Raiders is, so we can argue about it with our friends, and shut up with everything else because you guys don't know what you're talking about. That's my thoughts on PFF. Shut your face already. Nobody cares. You're dumb. Either get your house in order and be consistent with your writing or just stop it. So that's that. That's all I got to say.
I think he's going to be day one, a violent vertical edge setter.
He's going to be today. I see some gas off the edge. Get that mindset to put your shoulder on somebody. Nick, drop. You're finished. Hey, first down. This is weird. Get worse than that, sorry.
Hey! What's happening, everybody? From the Safeway parking lot in Cottonwood, Arizona, I am GreenBean. Welcome to an impromptu Sunday night gripe. We are going to get into it. I spent a large portion of my day, on Twitter, and I was inspired. I did a show last night, a stream last night, and I was like, I can't do another one today. But I was on Twitter all day, and I'm like, you know what? I want to talk to some people. It's Christmas Eve, really. It could be a Christmas Eve when your parents let you know that your dad's been out of work for a year and you're much poorer than you thought. You know, it could be one of those Christmases. We don't know. But it's Christmas Eve nonetheless. The beginning of the legal tampering window starts tomorrow at noon Eastern time. Like right now, it's 10 o'clock Eastern time, p.m. It is 7 o'clock Eastern time because I am in Arizona, and Arizona is an interesting place where they don't change their clocks. So yesterday I was 2 hours off, and the rest of the country went to daylight savings, and Arizona said, we're not doing that, and they just stayed, so everybody left them. So they're another hour behind, just like the West Coast, because the West Coast just caught them and whatever. It's called Arizona time. So we're going to stay on Eastern time for all of the festivities. But guys, we need to talk. People are flat out losing their minds. I'm a little fuzzbean. Let me move my thing. Hold on. Let's see what we got here, Garrett or Gitmo. Let me see. I think I can do this. A little bit fuzzbean. Okay, let's hope it gets a little bit better. Okay, thank you, Gitmo. I appreciate it. So I see all you guys. I see Jake Kime, Mr. Garrett Wilson himself. ADK is here. Hepburn's here. Matthias Simon doing my thing. Here we go, baby. Salty Nuts is here. Cue the accordion guy. No, we need him. I reached out to him to see if he would come on, but I don't think he does a whole accordion channel. He just happens to be a Jets fan. I don't think he wants to come on. Stud City's here, and he reminds everybody, if you're going to hang, that's great. Hit the like button if you do. If you haven't subscribed, that would be great. I was one under 5,500 when I checked yesterday, so that would be cool. Yeah, it's appreciated, man. Braden's here. What's up, Braden? All the way down there from New Zealand. Here I am talking about Arizona time. Braden is already in tomorrow, everybody. I know I say that a lot, Braden. It's probably getting real old. It's like, yeah, I get it. I know. But I love it. It tickles me. So Cadoza's here, sneakers to boots, Vafadoos, Jets Forever is back. Let's see what Jets Forever is saying. I don't know where, I know everybody sucks, but I'm really curious to see where you are. He says, re-sign Flacco, White with put a second round tender on White. That would be interesting. LDT, Fatukasi, and Berrios. Let's focus on these 9 picks in the draft. The free agents left are not good. What do you mean left? I guess, right, yeah, some are getting signed and stuff. But look, I don't know why we would wait till right now to sign any of those guys. I mean, we had months to do it. I don't know. That's one of the things that I have a gripe with. I think, hey, man, if you really want your guys, sign them. But I think Joe Douglas might be fearless enough. Like, hey, man, I'm offering you 6.5. That's my cap. I'd love to have you. Why don't you go out there into free agency, see what you can get. If you get higher, come back and talk to me, and we'll see what we can do. If not, we want you. Maybe it's something like that. It's just a real amicable kind of two-way back and forth level of communication. Wouldn't that be great? What's up, GM? Good to see you, buddy. So here's what we got today. I saw yesterday we talked about Amari Cooper and that Joe Douglas sucks because he didn't get Amari Cooper. There have since been some articles that have come out that said the Jets really weren't all that involved. I mean, they were. They called, they checked, they gauged what they would need to do, but Dallas held firm. They're not going to wait. They're not going to do the whole restructure and then trade them. You have to just trade them. They're not doing anything like that. So you got to work on that. And the Jets were out. So again, I want to just remind everybody that we have talked numerous times about this, and we talked about it last night, which is the rumors are fine. They're fun. They're good to chew on with your pals and your buddies, like old GreenBean here. Let's chew on it. Let's talk about what would you do if you won the lottery kind of a thing. But 99 out of every 100 things we're hearing from these guys that supposedly know something are wrong. They're flat out wrong. Don't forget, just a month or so ago, we were told that the Jets were going to trade the 10th overall pick for Calvin Ridley. That's what it was said with some firm support. I'm telling you, the Jets will not use their 10th overall pick, and they're going to offer it for Calvin Ridley. How many people thought that was real? It was like, what? Fuck out of here. That's not happening. You know what I mean? So the trick is to not get yourself all wrapped up, because they just want to keep us on the line, man. Don't forget, we are Jets fans. They are not. Now, and that's fine. You don't have to be a fan to be able to tell us stuff and know stuff, and that's great. I have no issue. But when you look at motivations, like my motivation is to try. I love talking to you guys. I love it. I love talking Jets. I love cutting it up. I love it. I've loved it since I'm in elementary school. I love it. And my motivations is to do that, but also I want us to be happy as we can, right? I like us to be happy. But those guys, all they want to do is keep you clicking on if they find a subject that's getting us, they're going to keep pushing it. But the truth is the Jets checked it out, and it was like, we're not paying him $20 million for 3 years. And then you say the 1-year rental thing, but why bring him in for 1 year and then let him go? Like, that's not good for the overall team and development and all that. We got a young team. So, but they kept us there. So now here we are today, and this is the narrative today, and this is what I want to talk about. Yeah, Cadoza knows. He says, I'm getting work. I'm done with this, getting agita. Right, man. I love talking to guys from the Northeast, Cadoza. I assume you're from there, because the word agita, I learned a long time ago. You bring that word out of the Northeast, nobody's like, what the hell you're talking about. They're like, what? Was that angina? We're like, yeah, kind of. It's very similar. But here's what we're seeing. There are numerous people out there, and some of them with, reputable jet sites and all that, saying Joe Douglas is on the hot seat right now. He's on the hot seat. And they're pushing a narrative that this is his 4th year. It's not his 4th year. This is Joe Douglas's 3rd offseason. If you want to tack on that time when they let Mike McCagnon run everything, and then they fired him and hired Joe Douglas in the beginning of the season, sure, you can, but he couldn't do anything. His hands were tied. He went and he dug out Ryan Khalil from the grave. He traded for Nate Hairston, Demarius Thomas, you know what I mean? But this is Joe Douglas's 3rd offseason, and it's his 2nd as the GM. As the full-time only GM. So that's the reality of it, right? Now, we still don't have to like what he did. I hate his handling of the kicker. Hate it. There were some guys that he brought in that I didn't love. There were some guys that he didn't bring in that I thought would have been excellent. Draft pick, all that shit. I mean, I don't, I have odds. But that's the thing. It's so we have to talk about that. Does anyone believe right now that Joe Douglas is not going into his 3rd offseason as the New York Jets general manager? Is there anybody that believes otherwise? Let's get that out right away. Okay? Oh, he wants Wagner. Yeah. ADK, long-suffering fan. Is there anybody out there that thinks that Joe Douglas is not going into his 3rd offseason? Is there anybody out there? I'll add this to it. Is there anyone out there that believes that this coaching staff only had 1 season so far? When we're comparing them to the Bengals. I got the Bengals thrown at me 2 or 3 times. 3 times today. 3 times. And I say thrown at me. Not really, but just used as a reason to support a feeling. Does anybody know what year Zach Taylor was in last year? And they've had the same GM forever. It's not really a GM, but it's a weird thing over there in Cincinnati. Poll time, studs. I'm going to do a poll. I'm going to do a poll for you guys. Okay? And we're going to do a nifty little poll. And this is going to be fun. Okay, you guys ready? So, let's do a poll. We're going to say this. What off-season is JD in? About to begin. So 1 will be 2nd. Okay? 1 will be 3rd. 4th. And this is going to help us because it's going to let us know, are we just a bunch of drunks, or are we or do we know what's up? Now, forgive my typos. I got the mic on the keyboard. I'm in a truck. All right, there it goes. So in 2 seconds, refresh your feed, and it'll give you the poll. Okay. Just so we know where we are. So I'll get to the poll in a little bit. That's great. Stud City. I forgot. I'm going to remember on the Monday Night Mock, but I completely forgot that I could do it right now. So that's good. Sneakers to Boots. What's up, buddy? He says, this regime concerns me at times, though. They thought Zach Wilson would light up the league without a veteran backup his rookie year. How do you know, Sneakers to Boots, that they thought he was going to light up the league? Matter of fact, I doubt they thought that. I bet they thought that he would have struggles. And he did. And the other thing is this, I can't get it through my head, Sneakers to Boots, the idea that we didn't have a veteran quarterback here all year. We had Josh Johnson the entire year. He didn't suit up on Sundays, but he was there every single week. He was there the whole time. So I don't know. I think that they went into the season with a young team and they said, okay. I mean, the same thing can be applied to the cornerbacks. Remember how worried we were about the defensive backs? Remember that? We were like, dude, they are going to get torched. So they did the same thing over there. They just went in with a young team. They decided to cut everybody's teeth on the same day. Like, think about it. You got 20 little babies, and you get them all together to cut their teeth on the same day. You know what that day is going to look like? You know, everybody teething on the same. It's like, it's going to be a mess, but you're going to get through it quicker than staggering it. You know what I mean? Robbie Oak says, JD is my ride or die. Now, sneakers to boots, just to be clear, I can't say that I don't have concerns. I do, too. I have concerns. Nick Shine. I feel like I just saw you on Twitter, Nick. I think I did. Yeah, I might have just been talking to you. It gets crazy. I get smeared. My brains are mushy. This is JD's first year as a building GM. The first 2 were managing the cap. That's why it was a 6-year deal. 2 to tear down, 4 to build. That's actually very close to how I see it. People call me a homer. I don't know. Who's here from the first 2 years of his time here? I mean, you had that first year, the Mike McCagnon, CJ Mosley, Le'Veon Bell offseason, right? Quinnen Williams. They hire Joe Douglas and they put handcuffs on him and go, hey, just sit here for a little while. And then you get the next year, he's got Sam Darnold and blah, 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 all the guys. He gets rid of Adam Gase, Sam Darnold, Chris Hearn, like all the guys. That year he traded, he cut Le'Veon Bell, traded Jamal Adams earlier in the year, got rid of Avery Williamson, Chris Herndon, Steve McClendon, whatever that other guy's name was. Jared Willis, right? He gets rid of all these guys. And then he acquires draft cap. Think about this. This is the best way to look at it for me. And then we're going to look at the poll a little bit. We let a guy sign a 6-year contract. Why did he sign a 6-year contract instead of the traditional 4? Most guys come in, especially first-time coaches and GMs, they get 4 years. That's what they do. He signed 6. Why? Because he knew it was going to be a bigger job. This place is a mess. You guys have been very poorly run, and I need to gut the whole place, right? So we let him trade away all these assets. He hasn't even used them yet. And we're already mad that the team isn't a winner. He hasn't even used it. Oh, it's crazy town. It's crazy. Why don't we let him use the capital and see what the team does in a couple of years? Now, there should be steady improvement every year, without question. But let's let him use the capital that he just worked for the past 2 years to acquire. He hasn't even used it. Why are we mad already? We're mad. You know what I mean? It's funny. Let's see. All right, so I'm going to get, I didn't get it. I'm getting it tomorrow, Gary. It's funny. My wife went and made rigatoni tonight. I'm like, I want the bucket of spaghetti. I'm going to do it tomorrow. I leave Sedona Tuesday morning. So I got to get that bucket of spaghetti, and I'm going to film it. I'm going to show you guys. I just can't believe it's real. Sneakers to boots. Did you hear about the bucket of spaghetti? Did you hear about it? Dude, there's a place. It's called By the Bucket. They give you a big, it looks like a popcorn bucket. They fill it with spaghetti and sauce and meatballs, and they give you a loaf of garlic bread and say, get out. And it's like $15. They say it feeds 5. It's going to feed me. That's what it's going to feed. I'm going to get 2. One for my family, one for me. Gase was a shit show, right, Jets Forever? Like, we forget. We forget how bad it really was here. We have a coaching staff who just finished their first season. Comparing them to the Bengals is unfair. It's not the same. The Bengals have been trying to rebuild since the 90s, number one. But let's just give them to when they fired Marvin Harrison and they hired Zach Taylor. Right? They've had 3 drafts. Not just 3 drafts, but 3 years coaching. That was his 3rd year. How can we compare Saleh and our coaches? And again, I want to make sure I'm clear. I'm not convinced that our coaches are going to be great. I just don't know. I've seen good things. I have. But I've seen some scary things too. I didn't like that players don't need me to motivate them shit. That was a rub. That was a rub for me. I don't like that. But maybe he's right. Who knows? Saleh's known as a motivator. Maybe he just doesn't know what the hell he doesn't know. I don't know. But we're comparing Saleh and LaFleur and all these guys. Joe Douglas had to fight. He got here. What a weird situation. Number one, again, the GM gets fired after spending $200 million and using a top 3 overall pick and all that. That's weird enough. But Joe Douglas is here. And he's got to fire the head coach a year and a half. It's really 2 seasons later, right? Let's say it that way. So he's got to fire the head coach and then hire a new coach. Usually, when you see a new GM, they get to hire their first coach and then their careers are tied, usually, unless there's some winning and everything. It's an interesting circle. I understand why there's a little bit of confusion, but comparing us to the Bengals, that was just their 3rd year. That's 2024. Now, let's see. No, that's the end. We're comparing the Jets. Well, it would be the end of the 2023 season. That's when we're on equal playing field as the Bengals. That's the truth. I know you don't like it, some of you. Sneakers to boots, maybe not light up the league, but do well. Yeah, and that's fair. It's fair. But we did have a vet quarterback in here. I never understood that narrative the whole year. I would always say that. People go, yeah, like they brush it off. I go, but there is a vet quarterback here. We need a vet quarterback. Why? To help Zach and everything. Okay, well, he's here. We have a vet quarterback. We have one guy who's in his 5th year, and we have one guy who's in his 15th year here. And it just doesn't sink in. They turn right around and say, we need a vet quarterback. You might not like Josh Johnson. That's totally different. That's fine, right? So, okay, let's get to this poll. I want to see what you guys are talking about. Everybody get a vote in the poll? Okay, I'm going to end the poll. Let's see what we got here. Where'd it go? Come on, show me the poll. Did it end? All right. There it is. Okay. So 5th, 1% said it fit. All right. So the question was, what offseason is Joe Douglas about to begin? So 19% said 2nd. 4% said 4th. Now, I don't know if we're being funny or whatever. 1% said 5th, right? 121 of you voted. But the winner with 74% is he's about to enter his 3rd year. So when we just did it, we talked about it. We had a poll. We've landed on it. Can we make an agreement as Jets fans moving on from this point? Can we just function and operate knowing, like we make an agreement, we don't make up other shit, that it's his 4th year, it's his 5th year. This is Joe Douglas's 3rd offseason, his 2nd with his staff, his coaching staff, and his 2nd as the sole GM. But it's his 3rd offseason. When we're moving forward, we operate with that. Let's let him use the capital that he's gained. We don't even know what he's going to do until after the draft. That's the capital. We have 4 top 40 picks. That's Joe Douglas. He did that. So can we make that agreement, everybody? Right? Everybody's like, screw this guy. GreenBean's an asshole. GreenBean's an asshole. So that's my agreement. I will agree to move forward that way with you. I will not entertain conversations that talk about this being Joe Douglas's fourth or fifth year because it's not accurate. He's only had 2 off seasons. So even if it was a 4-year contract, he would just be passing the halfway point. Do you realize how overreacting we're being? All right, so now we're going to do, we did it. We talked about it. Cardoza says, I'm excited for the draft. Infusion of talent. Yeah, young talent. GMF says, need patience. We are Jets fans, so hope for the best, but expect the worst. To stop bitching like it is the end of the effing world. Yes. All right. Anthony Rizzi says, I want us to go defense with our first 2 picks. Anthony Rizzi, you and I are in the same ballpark, friend. You really are. That's what I want. Not because I want defense more than offense, because that's where the talent is, where we're picking. That's what I want. David Gerard checking in. Thank you, David. He says, JD just bought a house in my town. Maybe I'll see him. Really? What town? What's your address? Oh. That's cool. Maybe you will. And if you do, stop him. Say, hey, dude, we got to talk. Look at this. The Duravage. Sorry if I said that wrong. He says, Amari should be a fucking Jet. Yeah, well, again, the articles came out today. If you looked at them, I don't read articles. I look at tweets and I look at conversations. I don't do it because I don't believe it. But they came out today saying the Jets really were never all that interested. They were. They checked. But they weren't going to pay him $20 million. It's just that simple. For a averages 73 catches over the last 3 years, right? Something like that. So let me see. Did I miss any more super chats? I don't want to do that before. So, all right, I'm going to get to your chats. That's what we're doing. We're going to go right to the chats. I'm just going to talk. You guys are going to run this one, okay? This is a Sunday night gripe. We're going to get it out. We're going to talk about it. We are going to get through it and enter tomorrow clean. That's what we're going to do. What are my real expectations? Why am I freaking out? What is it? V-Man checking in. Thank you, V-Man. He says, I don't know what depresses me more. Potential of World War III or Tom Brady coming. Dude, you know what I mean? Like, obviously, I know you're joking, right? But, dude, what is this guy? He waited until they made all the greatest of all time documentaries and all this stuff. Can you hate this guy more? I can't. He disgusts me, this freaking guy. I can't take it. I mean, I can, obviously, but I don't like him. You know what's funny? We had conversations, and I don't know why. It just never seemed like a real retirement, didn't it? It felt like, why do that? Why? Because he wanted to be at his own funeral. That's why. He's an egocentric, me. And he knows it's running out. It's coming to the end. So he's squeezing the lemon for every drop in it. I can't say I wouldn't do. I don't know. But I think, hey, dude, hang it up. Everybody's sick of looking at your friggin' face and just go. Or just stay. One or the other. So, yeah, V-Man, I'm with you, buddy. So Duncan McLean checks in. He says, Cooper for $20 million on a team winning 7-8 games in 2022. Probably. Right? I mean, Cooper, I like Amari Cooper. I loved him in that draft. Loved him. I thought the Raiders should have never gotten rid of him. I thought Gruden was just tinkering where he didn't need to be tinkered. I thought he and Carr had a good rapport. He was like 1,000 yards or more every season at that point. I like Amari Cooper. I think he's fantastic. Now, I don't know about the reports we hear about him being, a little bit soft and or lazy. I don't know. But I'll tell you what, Amari Cooper coming in, and I don't know. I don't see him pushing us over the edge. We would need a lot more still, and that's the thing, is that he limits that. I mean, you can't deny it, that it limits it. People are saying it wouldn't have destroyed our cap. Other people say it would. Either way, $20 million into 48 does something to cap. I saw this article. I saw this thing last night, I think it was. Somebody was talking to me about it, and it said that the Jets salary cap absolutely would not have been destroyed because you can signing bonus it and push stuff to the next year. We could have had his cap hit to around 10 million. Do you understand what that does? That means you have dead cap the next year. That's what we're talking about. It just took Joe Douglas 2 years to clean that crap. So we're talking about signing Amari Cooper, pushing all the money around, restructuring, give him signing bonus, which prorates across the life of the contract. If you cut him, you have to pay it. It still goes on the cap. You can only push it for so long. That's what we're seeing with the defensive end from the Vikings. What's his name again? What's his name? I want to say Mecole Hardman. I know that's not it. Hardy? I don't know. Tell me. So that's what we're seeing. That's why they got rid of Amari Cooper. That's why the Seattle Seahawks traded Russell Wilson. That's why they traded Khalil Mack. Because they pushed it till only so much. Like that defensive end from the Vikings is going to be $26 million. You can only push it for so long. So that's the shit that we're used to seeing, and we're done. Joe Douglas is not doing that. And that I appreciate. Like, yes, you can spin it all around and mix it all up. At some point, you got to pay the piper. At some point. Yeah, Iowa. That's funny. Tom Brady. Let's see here. Okay, so V-Man checks in again. He says, I hate him more than Putin right now. Yeah. I mean, I'm with you, okay? I'm with you, but there are different categories. It's like I always say, too, like I hate all NFL players that are not on the Jets. I hate them. I want them to suck. I don't feel bad when they flounder. I don't feel bad. I don't feel sorry for teams. I don't. I feel bad for us. But when it gets into real life, I'm not really rooting for people to have a bad life. I just don't do that, It's not me. But I think there are two different categories, V-Man. But I'm with you. I'm with you, buddy. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, Jeffrey Reed says, we are more than Amari Cooper away. Yeah, I agree. I do. No, it would have been good. But look, we've talked about this too. Like I always said it. Joe Douglas paying that $20 million seems unlikely. They would want to restructure it. And why would he restructure it? Think about it. He's being traded right now. He's not being, given the opportunity to find a place that he wants to play. So if he's going to go somewhere like the New York Jets, who have been a perennial loser, if he's going to be stuck going there with us, we're going to pay him. You're going to pay me my $20 million. In the event you don't want to pay me, cut me. Maybe I end up taking $12 million, but it's going to be where I want to play. You know what I mean? I have a 3-year contract worth $20 million a season. If you want me to go to the shitty Jets, I'm taking every penny of it. So that's the thing. He wasn't going to rework it. Maybe in a couple of years when we're more attractive, if that happens, there you go. Let's see. Fly Guy 1 says, GreenBean, I believe what's going on with the Jets organization are actual signs of health. They have a plan and they're sticking to it. I love it. Yeah, I do too. And that's not to say, Fly Guy, that I don't still crave the big name too. My son said to me today, hey, Dad, I think the Jets just signed Marcus May. And I was like, really? Where did you see that? He goes, no, something happened. I saw Jets vet gets a second chance or something like that. I'm like, oh, that's not Marcus May. That's LaMarcus Joyner, right? He goes, oh, okay. But for 1 second, just for 1 second, Fly Guy, even though I'm not really all that high on Marcus May and the shenanigans last year, I thought to myself, good. Bring him back in. Let him fight to recapture his career right here. Like, for 1 second. Like, I crave it. I do, just like everybody else. But I think Fly Guy's right here. What we're seeing is actual signs of restraint, of health. They're modeling it after programs like the Ravens, like the Steelers. They're not modeling the Jacksonville Jaguars. You know what I mean? So I think that's important. Radovan Merkovic. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. He says, do you think it's possible to get a good return in trading down from 4? Not seeing any prospects that blow me away. Plus, we'll have $10 million a year at 4 and 10. It's going to be one of two things, Radovan. It's going to be one of two things. One, after free agency settles, we're going to have to see a narrative that really pushes the quarterbacks. In particular, I'm so fried today. What's the guy's name? The quarterback from Liberty. Willis? I don't know what the hell's the matter with me today. But so we're going to need to see a narrative that gets these teams freaking out that he's not going to slide as far as they think. Rumors are Pittsburgh Steelers like Malik Willis. The Pittsburgh Steelers love him. I heard a radio show just yesterday. I was just listening to Sirius XM, bebopping down the road, and they said Malik Willis is in play at 2. Now, again, is it real? I don't know. But that was the first but that was the first time I heard an NFL show say that. And I've been saying that the whole time. I've been saying it. Detroit loves Malik Willis. They love him. And to be able to bring in a quarterback that can sit. He's from Liberty. He's going to be small school. He's going to need that time. He needs to sit for a minute. They still have Jared Goff under contract. Let Malik Willis sit for the first half of the season and fold him in, and you got your quarterback if they like. But that's the rumor. Okay. Now, will it happen? I don't know. But so we have to see these narratives start coming out. Pittsburgh going to trade up to get the Detroit's going to take Malik Willis at 2. You got to get these guys thinking quarterback. If they do, they're willing to overpay. Then the return will be exceptional. The other thing is this, understanding that it's not a quarterback class. If that doesn't happen, you got to just take even return, right? Because the way it happens, Radovan, is that the team wanting to trade up, they initiated the call, very similar to what the Jets did last year for AVT. When you want the other team to move out of their spot, more times than not, the one moving up is the initiator. So they have to overpay because you got to get them off of their box. And we overpaid. It wasn't, drastic, but it was an overpay last year. So we moved up and got AVT. That's our guy. So we paid the premium on that. So in the event there's no real quarterbacks and we're looking to trade back, you might have to take a little bit less. Either way, I see, depending on how far back you go, I think you get a first next year, unless you're flip-flopping one pick or something. You get a first next year and probably a second this year, something like that, in that range. I think it could be worth it. It all depends. Like if they like Jermaine Johnson just as much as they like Thibodeau and they want to trade back and still get their guy, great. It's going to be fun though. But that's an interesting thing. Not having to pay the 2 rookie first-round contracts. But then you lose the 5th year too. So there's pros and cons, right? Am I lagging, Matt Green? Snowball, this is the odds of the hour. I shouldn't be lagging right now. Am I lagging, guys? That's really unfortunate if I am. I'm in the exact same spot that I was in last night. We had a good show last night. Let me check a few things here. Yeah, everything's shut down. Let's see. Marcus May can kick rocks, Eddie McGuire, right? I know, I feel the same way. But like I said, even though I'm not pining for Marcus May to be re-signed, if they got him on like a cheap deal, yeah, sure. But I'm not really even looking for that. But when my son said it, it was for 5-second conversation, for one just brief moment, I got excited. Why? Because it's a name I know, and we're signing people. Because I'm just as victim to everybody else as everybody else. Carlton says, should we sign Marcus Williams? Dude, he's the golden nugget in the defensive backfield. Obviously, you have J.C. Jackson and Carlton Davis is another one. But if we're thinking safety, I mean, I don't know. I think it's unlikely. He's going to want $15 million. He's going to want $15 million. And Joe Douglas is more than likely not going to pay that. I think he'll give him 12. I do, maybe 13. So that would be interesting. Mumtaz checking in. Thank you, Mumtaz. He says, Dak $75 million, Rodgers $50 million, Cousins $40 million. Indy gave up 2 firsts, and now no quarterback. Seattle got picks, but no one to pick. Aren't you glad we have Zach? Also, love the poll. You can do a whole mock like that. Dude, Mumtaz, that's what we did on the Monday Night Mock. Tomorrow night's mock is going to be great. We're going to do polls, baby. No more counting your shitty votes and everybody, voting 5 times. I'm trying to weed through it. Oh, it's madness. I didn't realize I could do that. Thank you, Ryan, Jets Talk 24/7. There it is. So, yeah, man. I mean, look, let me ask you guys something. Do you guys know who Chris Ballard is? You guys know who Chris Ballard is? Chris Ballard is the GM of the Colts. He's widely considered one of the better general managers in the NFL. Widely considered. He's been able to do quite a few nifty things. And he's really drafting well, too, for the most part. And he's built some things. But since he's been there, they have mismanaged Andrew Luck. He retired because the offensive line sucks. They built it later and all this stuff. And then they have had just a carousel of quarterback. And they traded a first, whatever, for Wentz. They got back half of what they traded him for. Now they have no quarterback. They had Jacoby Brissett, the whole thing. So he's stuck on this quarterback thing. Does Chris Ballard suck? He has built the entire organization up. Like they're a consistent kind of respectable organization. Lots of talent. Defense number 1 or number 2 in takeaways all year last year. Best running attack in the NFL. One of the top 3 offensive line in the NFL. They can't seem to figure out the quarterback. So does Chris Ballard suck? Getting a quarterback is not easy. Finding that guy is not easy. Getting the right guy. They even got Wentz because Frank Reich was his offensive coordinator when they had that Super Bowl year for, while his years in Philadelphia. And it still didn't work. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. So we have Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson was highly regarded last year. He had a rough rookie year, but he came out the other end of it, and he looked better for it. Now he's got the full offseason, no combines, no pro days. He knows the system. He's just working, refining it. He knows what he needs to work on, the whole thing. He's been through a year in the NFL, a tumultuous year. All we need to do is protect this guy and make sure his wide receivers aren't dropping the passes that he hits him in the hands and face. We do that, and we got a shot. That's it. And then obviously our defense needs to fucking get them back on the field by shutting people down. Yeah, so Stud City says Ballard effed up on the Wentz trade. Yeah. But I think here's the thing. It's like this. When you realize that you have made a mistake, is it better to just take what you can get for the mistake and just count your losses? Say, okay, man, I took it there. Or is it better to cover up the mistake and keep trying to make it right? If you already know you made a mistake, what's better? Cutting it, cleaning your hands, saying, yeah, I messed up. But I got this and this for it. So I only lost that much now. I mitigated my losses, right? You got a guy like Mike McCagnon. Let me tell you guys a story. Mike McCagnon, I'm lagging now. I'm lagging bad. Shit. Am I lagging really bad? I'm sorry if I'm lagging. That sucks. Man, I got everything hooked up. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully it gets better. I mean, I have everything shut off. Let me just make sure. I got nothing else running. Oh, iTunes. Get out of here, iTunes. Or iMusic or whatever the hell you are these days. Is there nothing else? What is this? What is that? Close down, you. All right. So Mike McCagnon made a trade for Sam Darnold. Okay. He traded 3 second-round picks to move up 3 spots. But that was a very strong quarterback class, at least as it was perceived in that draft, right? We had 5 quarterbacks that were considered first-round picks with the top 4 of Mayfield, Allen, Rosen, and Darnold. So he trades 3 second-round picks to move up 3 spots. Now, the next year, he had the 3rd overall pick. It was nowhere near as strong of a quarterback class. You had Daniel Jones and you had Dwayne Haskins up top. But there were trade offers. One was from the Redskins at, I think they were 12 or 13. They wanted to trade up to jump the Giants and get Haskins. But he was never going to get the same capital because the quarterback class wasn't as strong. So what he did was he turned down the trade offers. And that's one of the reasons that Gase left the room. He left right after that first-round pick. So not only did he turn down the trade offers, then he picked another defensive tackle in Quinnen Williams when we needed an edge rusher. Josh Allen, the other Josh Allen. So here's what I'm telling you. Isn't it better to make to have an less of an ego and be able to go, okay, well, it's a different scenario. Now I'm going to trade back from 3 to 12 and I'm only going to get 2 seconds. But I don't need anybody up here. I would rather be in the middle of the round and have 2 extra seconds, even though it's more. Mike McCagnon couldn't do that because of how the optics would look. That shows a fear-based individual. He can't just take the best capital now. This is a completely different scenario. I know I had to pay 3 seconds to move up 3 spots. Well, I should get 10 seconds to move back 10 spots, right? It's not true. It's a different scenario. But that's why we were where we were. Now, Chris Ballard is smart enough and comfortable and confident enough to say, I made a mistake. I need to get out of this. So he got whatever he got, a second and a third and all that jazz. You know what I mean? So that's the difference. That's the difference. So like when you're looking at a guy like Joe Douglas, who we're all looking at right now, we've sat here and watched him tear down this team. Now, we had to play seasons, and people come at me all the time. He's won 6 games in 2 years. Like, yeah, of course. And not to say I wasn't rooting for more. You know, I was. But it's like, of course he only had 6 wins in 2 years. Because He was tearing it down, selling off our capital to gain, our assets to gain capital. He hasn't even used it yet, and we're mad. Like, let's let him use all these resources that he collected and then see what happens. Like I said, if you want the best comparison, because they're the most exciting, is the Cincinnati Bengals. They turned it around quick since Zach Taylor came around, but it was his third season. Let's give Saleh and Douglas their third season together and see where it is. Let's let them use all this capital, all this money, all these draft picks, and we'll see where it is, right? Jets New York 102. Thank you, my friend. He says, Jets will be significantly better next year. My only concern is the road to the playoffs will be a lot harder in the AFC. League is lopsided with quarterbacks. Yeah, and look, you think the AFC East, we've had New England forever, and we were just kind of struggling for number 2, even though we couldn't even do that with Buffalo and Miami. And now you got Buffalo. But Buffalo's starting to get some chips, right? They lost Dable. They lost their assistant GM. You lose stuff. You don't realize how much, how much each guy contributes. So I'm sure Dable's going to be able to take a player or two, that sort of stuff. So, but you got the Patriots, who are always going to be the Patriots, at least to some degree, right? They're good. They're a good, well-run organization. Then you got the Bills, and who knows what's up with Miami, but McDaniel looks promising. And then you got the AFC. Like, all we need to see next year, from my perspective, all we need to see is progress. That's it. We just want to, it would be a rousing success if we had 8 or 9 wins next year. Complete. I'm really thinking 7. That would be a huge success. 7, 8, 9 would be fantastic. That's what I'm thinking. I don't even know who we have yet. I might change when it might get real exciting. Maybe we go into next year with Aiden Hutchinson, Boye Mafe, Carl Lawson, Quinnen Williams. Like, maybe that's what we do. Maybe we have Kyle Hamilton and Sauce Gardner. Maybe we get them all. We don't know. So I might feel better, but right now, I think you're right. Like, we're going to be better. Why? Because everybody's now together for a year. They were learning everything last year, and we saw it. Let's see. Spaghetti, you leaving? I got to make sure you're here for the spaghetti bucket tomorrow. I got to do it. I'm going to do a whole thing. I'll make a video on just that. I'm doing these things called A Minute from the Road for you guys come this week. But let me tell you guys right now, too. Tomorrow's, every Monday I release Greenbeanjetsfan. It's a long-form podcast, video, and audio. Tomorrow, what I'm doing, because it's such an exciting day, 11:30 a.m. on Eastern time, I'm going to go live for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. I'm just going to go live. And we're going to be together while the window opens, and we're going to see what happens. You know what I mean? Jetsfan, Allen Robinson, Marcus Williams, Zach Ertz, whatever it is, We're going to see. So we're going to hang out tomorrow. So tomorrow's going to be the first ever live Greenbeanjetsfan. We're still going to do the intelligent gripe. I got one for you guys. It's all griped up, ready to go. And I might even have some guests and stuff, but we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be a fun time. And I invite all of you, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time, we're going to go live. Instead of, like I said, I usually release around 6, 8 a.m. I release the long-form edited Greenbeanjetsfan. But this week, to honor my trip in Sedona, I'm going to try to go out into the desert. I just got to make sure there's internet service, right? So, okay, what else we got? Jeremy's here. What's up, Jeremy? Well, Paul Mancini says it was owner Jim Irsay who wanted Wentz ass out of Indy. Ballard had no choice but to move him. How do you know that? I didn't see that. But even still, it doesn't matter. It's still my point was that Ballard can't get the quarterback thing right. Right? Doesn't matter. If Wentz came in and lit it up and they went, deep into the playoffs or something, it would be a different story. But here he is yet again, starting the offseason without a quarterback. So that's what I was talking about, Paul. Michael Basso, he says, "Hey, Greenbean, I just joined the stream and I have a questionnaire that you may have already covered. But why do you think Brady came back after only a few weeks? Because Brady is an attention whore. That's why. That's it, Michael. He wanted to had his own funeral. You know what I'm saying? He wants to see everybody crying for him, everybody fawning over him. He wanted to see what it looks like when I retire. What's the fanfare going to be? He enjoyed that for a little while. Everybody, kissing his ass and all that stuff, making documentaries, the GOAT. And then he came back anyway. There's another side to it too. Like he hung out at home with the wife and kids and he said, I can't do this. I hate this. You can love your kids and wife and still not want to be there with them all day. You know what I mean? So I think he's terrible. He's a terrible person. That's what I think. McCagnon's original game plan was to draft a quarterback every year, but he got so killed for Hackenberg that he didn't take a shot on Mahomes. I disagree, Eddie McGuire. He didn't take Mahomes. Actually, Watson was the pick that year, right? You could say Mahomes, but Mahomes was considered a much riskier prospect than Watson. And then you got Trubisky, of course. But Mike McCagnon, he might have been wanting to draft a quarterback every year, but he traded up to get Bryce Petty in the 4th. Don't forget that. He traded up to get Bryce Petty. Then he wouldn't let him play. He went and he got McCown to play. Why not just roll with Petty and see what's up? So then he drafted a 2nd-round pick on Hackenberg when everybody had him as like a 5th best, right? And he didn't draft a quarterback that year because he wanted to force Todd Bowles' hand into playing one of his guys. He thought McCown was going to be a backup. Make no mistake, Eddie, Mike McCagnon had no plan. He sucked. Now, I tried to believe in him, and for me, I thought it was Bowles that was the problem, personnel-wise, because the players looked to me like they were Bowles guys. Darren Lee, Jamal Adams, Marcus May, all those guys. I just said, this is what Bowles, like they're the same, those tweener linebacker types that are Bowles' favorite. So I blamed Bowles. I thought that when we fired Bowles and hired Mike McCagnon, I was deeply hoping this draft's going to be Mike's best draft ever because he doesn't have Bowles anymore. And it was the worst one ever. It was his worst draft, in my opinion. Now, we still got Quinnen, but it was the logic of it. There was no rhyme or reason to that draft. None. It sucked. The whole thing sucked. Ja'Kai Polite, trading up for Chuma Edoga. Like, it's just, as much as Chuma Edoga's fine, but trading, the whole thing. So there. I will say it again. I hope for a healthy 16 games from Zach Wilson. 17 games, B2B. You got to get used to that one. Lawson, Becton, Elijah Moore, Corey Davis, Michael Carter, and add a free agent or two, and then D4, D10, D36 through 38 and more. I don't know what that means. Am I broken? That's a huge shot in the arm of talent. Draft 410. I got you. All right. Yeah, that's the thing, man. We got to figure out this injury thing. That's the thing I'm concerned about. It's the field. Not all of it, of course. Carl Lawson got hurt in Green Bay on grass. So I don't know. Bino says, McCagnon couldn't draft, so he upped the ante at terrible free agent signings. Then he got an extension. You seriously can't make that shit up. Yeah. This is why it's so important to have guys in this regime that know what they're doing. You could not like Joe Douglas and Phil Savage and all these guys. But, dude, they've been there, done it. They learned under the best there is. And they're doing it systematically. We are crazy. We're nuts. Son of a trade, 20 million's no big deal. We're nuts. But I think that we have adults in the room, which is nice. McCagnon was bad, man. Cadoza says Zach Wilson's going to light it up and Moore's going to blow the league's mind next year. Nothing would make me happier, my friend. Nothing. As far as the Jets are concerned. Nothing. Zach Wilson comes out, looks comfortable in our offense. Our offensive line is giving him the time he needs. And Elijah Moore, knowing the offense now, just slices and dices the defense like a surgeon. And Zach Wilson hits him all day. 1,800 yards for Elijah Moore. 41 touchdowns. What do you think? That'd be good. Let's see. Hawk says the younger generation is hyped on Zach Wilson. Yeah, I like Zach Wilson. Like I said, I wasn't the biggest fan coming out. I liked him, but I liked Justin Fields and Trey Lance and some others just as much. I don't know. I saw the same talent everybody else saw. But again, I knew he was going to have a rough first year. I knew it. I got told I was crazy. I knew it. He's coming from BYU, smaller school, lower talent. There's all that. But the worst thing for me was that he was almost never pressured. He sat back there as comfortable can be. I said, that's not going to be what he experiences here. So, but I think he handled it in a way that I approve of. And I think he came out clean on the other side. That's what I think. His last 5 weeks, he had no turnovers, man. That's big. That is a huge step. Huge. So I'd be happy with that. Let's see. Alex Vargas. What's up, Alex? He says, if you look at some of our losses last year, we could have been at around 8 or 9 wins last year. I predict, yeah, that's true too. We didn't know how to win. You know what I mean? There was a couple games, in my opinion, we could have very realistically won either or both of the Miami games. That's just starting right there. We could have. I thought we were going to win them. And we lost. We didn't know, we're young. We don't know how to win. We don't know how to seal it. We don't know how to cap that. It's just like when we were playing the Bucks really well. They know how to just, at the end of the game, win it. That's it. They know how to do that. They played. It went back and forth, the whole thing. We were passionate. And then they just, at the end, they said, okay, let's go win this game. Right? Ooh, Jeffrey Reed says, I'm not young and I am hyped on Wilson. I'm not the younger generation. See, it's not just the younger kids, the younger guys. Let's see. Bino says 8 is the number. Kaz says 7 to 10, depending on the draft. Let's see. Is Jude coming around? I don't know. I haven't talked to him. I think it's during school. Doesn't he have school? Is it summer vacation? I don't even know what month it is. Is it spring break? I just don't know. All right, so let's do this. I'm trying to get to your questions and stuff, but what do you guys want? Who's the first guy? The first position, let's say. Who's the first position that you guys want to see in free agency? What's the first position and guy that you guys want to see? What do you guys think? Let's see. Oh, B2B, the uniforms. You want to touch on that one? That's a touchy subject. People get really passionate about that. Let's see. How old am I? Vinny, I'm 27 years old this year. I'll be 27 in a little while. You believe me? All right, let's see. So Eminon says guard. Big Green wants a linebacker. Which linebacker you want, Big Green? Paul Mancini says wide receiver Allen Robinson and edge Hassan Reddick. Okay. Budster wants a wide receiver 1. Mark Duncan wants A-Rob. Yep. Mumtaz wants Robinson. Yeah, Mike McCagnon says Tremaine Johnson, he deserved a second chance. You want to know what happened to Tremaine Johnson? You guys remember it? Game 1 as a New York Jet. It was that Sam Darnold, against Detroit when he threw the pick and everything, his first play. Tremaine Johnson caught an interception and was running it back. He was all looking good up to that point. And he got absolutely rocked by an offensive guy. Just cleaned his clock, knocked him out of the game. I think he was out a couple weeks. And he made a decision right there. I'm done. And that's what happened. Per GreenBean. See? Bino says Allen Robinson. Go Hanger says Marcus Williams. Right, there's another one. Duncan wants a defensive back. Dark Soldier wants Marcus Williams. Yeah. Ooh. Uwosu from the Chargers. That's interesting. Yoshi doesn't even care. I want a vet right guard, man. Yeah, me too. Cowboy Spaceship throws one at you there. Yeah, Yoshi says guard Laken Tomlinson. Yeah. Jets Forever wants Flacco and White. That's how he wants it to start. Pickle Pants. What's up, Mr. Pickle Pants? He says cornerback J.C. Jackson. Let's see here. Reed. Okay, so Kaz wants to just stop playing around with the big, if he wants $15 million, he says, let's just go and get a very solid player in Reed, pay him his $8 million, and call it a day. I wouldn't be unhappy. But if we go out and we sign Reed first before we have ample time to even discuss Marcus Williams, what's everybody going to say, Mike? What do you think? They're going to say Joe Douglas bargain bin shopping again. That's what they're going to do. Jeb Stewart, Tomlinson, right? Another Laken Tomlinson. Mr. Recht wants to trade a 4th or a 5th for a defensive end Hunter. Daniel Hunter, that's who I was talking about before. Mr. Recht, do you know what his cap hit is this year? Do you know what it is? You're not going to like it. It's $26 million. $26 million. Ooh, Snowball wants Chandler Jones. Derek Luker just wants a safety. Hey, Aunt Gina, I think Jets Mess just asked how you were doing, Gene. So there she is, Mess. There's my Aunt Gina. Hanging out in South Carolina. Yeah. Let's see. Tyron Matthew. Yeah, that's a rumor, right? That's a hot rumor right now. A lot of people talking about it. Right guard or Marcus Williams from Aiden P. Yeah. Iowan Jets fan wants Tomlinson or Daniels. Yeah. We don't need a safety. We actually do, Jets Forever. We do. I don't know how you can say such a thing. Right, Braden? We're 27, buddy. It's a good year. 27. What was I doing? Oh, I was working for AT&T at 27. In Morristown, New Jersey. Morristown, New Jersey. Flash wants James Daniels, right guard, then Allen Robinson. You know that, Flash. That's the Bear. Both of those guys are from the Bears. You want to go raid the Chicago Bears cupboards, huh? I'm in. I like both those players. I think we're going to sign Allen Robinson. That's what I think, guys. I think it's a done deal. Dr. Shrimp Puerto Rico says, going into next year, I want to see Allen in the lineup. Allen. Who's Allen? Allen. I'm trying to figure it out. It's probably me, but I don't know who that is, Dr. Shrimp. Eric wants to know, what do you think about a DK Metcalf trade? I think that The Seahawks have no interest in getting rid of him. That's what I think. Would I want him? Yes. But you have to also know he's going to cost 20 million or so. They're saying 21 million next year. So he's on a contract for 4 million this year, and then he wants 20 million plus. So you got to know that going in. But DK Metcalf is 3 years younger than Amari Cooper. So that's important. And DK Metcalf is a stud. Getting him at 24 years old with Zach Wilson, that would be fantastic. Just locking him up for 4 years, have him and Zach and Elijah Moore together, Michael Carter, have those guys together for 4 years. That's what we need, guys. We need to find guys and keep them here. They have to stay here. We need guys for more than a year or two. That's what is the biggest thing. Kaz wants Reddick. Yeah. Wagner connection. So Big Green wants Wagner. Yep. Ooh, and Dean at 10. That's what he wants. But Eric, just to close that, I don't think that's real. And it would take a lot to get him. They're going to want the 10th overall pick and then some. Like if we could get him for, let's say we'll give you the 10th overall pick for DK Metcalf and Noah Fant. I would do that in a second. I would do that in a second. But they're like, what, are you crazy? But the 10th overall pick is a very, very important asset, man. You like that, Kevin? What did I name this? It's Christmas Eve. Yeah. Let's get down a little. Oh, we got a super chat from Mess. There he is. What's up? He says, how is Aunt Gina? Tell her we miss her during the live stream. See that, Gene? Jets Mess, did you see that she's here? Yeah. She's here, buddy. So she's good, I imagine. I hope. I haven't talked to her in a while. Is that bad? Is that bad, everybody? Michael Basso, thank you for the super sticker. Everybody enjoy Mike's super sticker. Look at that. Beautiful. Yeah, Jeffrey, I think, well, thank you, Mike. He says, I think DK Metcalf's not happening. I think it was never going to happen. Like, this is the thing. It's like, I don't even think that he's available. They just write shit. Marcus Allen. You guys are crazy. Jake says, probably going to get priced out of Robinson with all the other number ones franchise. Going to be a bidding war. Maybe. I think Allen Robinson is going to have a cap. And it's going to be kind of equal. We're going to be right in the pocket as everybody else. And I think that he wants to come to New York. That's what I think. Why? I don't know. I think he wants to play with the young team, the young core. I think he wants to do it. That's what I think. He went up to Chicago. He came from Jacksonville. He went to Chicago. It was a shit show up there. He wants to come into the big lights of New York City and light this town up. That's what he wants to do. He doesn't want to go to a little tiny team. Who's that? I don't know. That's what I think, though. Why, Jake? I don't know. I just don't know. What's up, Y2K? 18, I don't know what you're talking about, but it's something important, I imagine. You're still on Cooper. It's Snoopy's not. You had to have calmed down a little bit, buddy. That's still $5 million difference, but I don't think they're going to give Marcus Williams $15 million anyway. I don't. So I wouldn't worry about it. Sign Braxton Berrios, 4 years, $28 million, and start him at safety. There you go. So there's a lot of guys out there. So Allen Robinson is already a TB12 prior jet to Tampa, you think? They can't pay him too. Can they? Can they pay him too? Polkai, 4 touchdowns. Al Bundy. That's right. Let's see. Let's see what we got here. You like that? Yeah, I like it too. Let me get down here. A-Rob and Laken Tomlinson will be our big free agent guys. Then we will double defense at 4 and 10. Yeah. So think about this. Let's get a realistic thing going here. We put some money into one big name, and he's Allen Robinson. So we go out there and we pay $16.5 million to Allen Robinson. So you get your number one wide receiver, but you save $3.5 million. Okay. And then you go and you get one of Laken Tomlinson, James Daniels, Alex Kappa, one of those guys. But I got a surprise. You ready in there? Let's say hello to our special guest. Here he comes. Look at this guy.
Up?
What's up, buddy? What are you
What's
doing?
good, brother?
We're trying to come down off the ledge, Ryan. I think we're settling down a little bit. We're still upset about Amari Cooper. People think I want to get you. I don't want to give you too much lead in here, but I want to just ask you a question. People are getting upset. They think Joe Douglas is on the hot seat, and he's got to do big things this year or he's getting fired. How do you feel about that?
I completely disagree. I think I had a conversation about this with someone on Jetnation, actually. And I was like, if it were me and I'm looking at Joe Douglas, I give him this entire year with Zach Wilson and he has, full support. Then you go into next year, 2023, and you have, if Wilson doesn't make the jump, then you bring in a vet quarterback, someone like, of a Mitch Trubisky caliber or something like that can go, a Mariota, someone of that tier. Let him compete. Then at the end of the 2023 campaign, you sit back and you look. You're like, okay, is Wilson our guy? The answer is no. Then you have to look at Joe Douglas and you have to say, okay, how were the rest of his draft picks? How did he structure contracts? Are the players fighting for Salah? Because I think there is an argument if Douglas is picking a bunch of good players and he just whiffed on the quarterback. I'll be honest, I would like to keep him around. I would give him another shot at a quarterback, whether it's bringing one in through free agency or the draft or a trade. But if his draft picks have not been good, the contracts that he went after in 2022, 2023 are looking bad. Wilson hasn't grown. The players are starting to revolt. Then yeah, Joe Douglas is gone. But I think he has at least 2 years. I think he's got 2022, 2023 before he's gone. And I think, I do think there is an opportunity for him to stay if Wilson does not succeed, but other things have to go well.
Yeah, I think that's all well said. You sound so logical. I don't understand.
I've been bitching about this for a while. I have so many people that get like all hot and bothered about Joe Douglas and like, oh, he needs to hit everything. Like he's asleep at the wheel. I'm like,
yeah,
calm down. He told us we were going to build through the draft.
Right. And he spent 2 years acquiring capital. We haven't even used it yet. And we're mad.
Yeah.
Like, why are we mad?
He hasn't even had his full cap space to work with.
Right.
I mean, think about that. We were paying Tremaine Johnson more than any of our cornerbacks put together last year. And we still have CJ Mosley's ugly contract on our books. So, like, this is the first time he's going to have, like, legitimately the full complement of money and picks at his disposal this year.
Right. It's finally clean. And it's
last year we
really
had,
not
like,
because CJ Mosley. But that's
fine. And we had like $30 million in dead cap last year too. So imagine having 2 more players of Carl Lawson's caliber.
Right.
Like, how does that change your team? That's insane.
Yeah, totally, man. It's really interesting. And it's like, the whole Amari Cooper thing. And I want to hear because you and I haven't talked in a couple of days.
No, we haven't.
So as far as see you B2B, have a good night, buddy. There were rumors around Jets and Amari Cooper for a couple weeks now.
Yep.
It ended up that on the toward the end there, they said that it was kind of between the Jets and Browns. I saw that. Yeah. We didn't get him, and they got him for essentially a 5th round pick, but they also flip-flopped to 6. So we don't have a 6, so we couldn't meet that challenge. We couldn't do that.
But I think they went.
What do you think about the whole thing?
They went backwards, though.
What?
I think the Cowboys have a later pick than the Browns, so the Cowboys went backwards.
Really? Oh, I thought it was. I didn't even look at it. I just assumed.
Yeah, I was thinking about it because I was like, oh, they kicked in the extra pick, and I was like, no, the Jets definitely could have given up a 5th. and gotten it. Like, our fifth is definitely better than the Cowboys' fifth, and we just wouldn't have moved back.
Okay, that's interesting.
It's weird, right?
That is interesting. So then a fifth.
Yeah.
So if we just said a fifth, that would be better. But what do you think? I mean, there are articles coming out today that the Jets really weren't as deeply involved in this as maybe people thought. Well, it's funny because the articles are being written by the same people that 3 days ago said that the Jets were in.
We're red hot on them.
Yeah. But they basically said that the Jets would have needed to restructure. They were not going to pay him $20 million. It's just not happening.
Yeah.
They felt it out, and it was not on the table. So they just said, okay, thanks, but no thanks. Do you think that's real?
Yeah, I do. I don't think anyone wants to pay Amari Cooper $20 million. Like, I just don't think he's worth it. I don't think he'd get that on the open market. I mean, I think I don't know. For the way these guys are getting snatched up, maybe he would get it, but I don't think the talent level is there. And from my understanding, the 4 teams or whatever that were in there towards the end all wanted the Cowboys to eat some portion of the contract, and the Browns were the only team that said no. Like, we'll just take the whole contract, and that's why they did it. So I'm a little disappointed because I think you could have plugged Cooper in, even if it was just for a year. Like, I'm throwing away this 5th round pick to like have Cooper for a season, and then you can look at Cooper and Corey Davis at the end of this year and see which player played better and which one do you want to hold on to. Now you don't really have that, but you get to keep your 5th round pick. And I do think there is a premium for Douglas's picks this year because of the Senior Bowl. Like, I think I think he has an idea. We're going to hit on some pretty late round picks this year, and giving away one for a player that's going to take up $20 million of your salary cap space. Like, that's a tall task. I didn't see Douglas shelling out $20 million to anyone in free agency, and let alone trading a pick for one when you have a 4-year contract on a rookie. Like, yeah, I get it, but I think this was worth the roll of the dice. Yeah.
Like, look, I said it last night to some people. I said, I was hoping that we were able to pull that off. You know what I mean? But I never thought that we were just going to pay him $20 million. And then there was the logic. There was a pretty significant outcry that his contract isn't guaranteed, so you could theoretically axe him next year if you don't want to pay him. But what's the logic of trading a 5th for a 1-year rental? Like, you have a rookie quarterback that you're hoping develops some chemistry and gets a groove with his guys, and then you factor in that you're just going to switch him 1 year later. So what's the positive with that?
So my thought process with that, if you were to bring in a guy for $20 million. You have the depth then, because you saw Corey Davis and Elijah Moore wind up getting hurt. You don't know what Denzel Mims is. But at the end of the year, then you can make a decision of Corey Davis or Amari Cooper. You can pick either one at the end of the year. You can get out of both contracts if you really wanted to. But I would combine the trading for Amari Cooper with a 2nd round draft pick receiver. And ideally, over the course of that year, hopefully it's someone like a Jamison Williams, someone that would, like, an elite talent that just fell to the 2nd round, has some issues, injury, or, maybe you go with a Pickens, who's a really talented guy who could fall, a little bit further. I don't know. I would combine a Cooper with a 2nd round rookie. And then at the end of the season, ideally you just go with the rookie and maybe you let Davis and Cooper go, but you at least had the option. It kind of gives you like a lot of fail safes. But then you're also taking away $20 million from rollover cap. Like that's a lot too. Like, I was just saying how $30 million was a lot to not have. You could have 2 Carl Lawsons. Well, you could have 2, I don't know, almost 2 Corey Davises. Corey Davis is what, $12 million a year?
Yeah. Well, look, you can probably get Reed at safety and a tight end for less than that. You know what I mean?
I would say I'm not banged up over losing Cooper. The pool of receivers is getting really thin, and the bargain that I thought Allen Robinson was going to be is no longer that.
Yeah, but I think there's going to be a cap, though. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think teams are so in on him that they're willing to blow it up like $22 million. I just don't see it.
No, I don't see that. But I was hoping for like 14, 15. I think he's getting like 18, 19.
Yeah, I think it's somewhere 16, 17 is what I'm thinking. But still, if you can get Allen Robinson for 17, that's still $3 million. You still get Morgan Moses. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, you're right. It's not a bad thing to miss on Amari Cooper. It might be a blessing in disguise. It really may, Did you see
Yeah.
the tweet from Rich Samini today
No,
about teams that spend big in free agency?
no. Well, yeah, I saw something from O'Leary. Is it the same one?
It probably is. Let me pull it up. I know I retweeted it today, but yeah. So
You can share
the
this.
top free agent spenders the last 6 off seasons: the Patriots, the Dolphins, the Jets, the Bears, the Jaguars. Well, I should say it this way: the 2021 Patriots, the 2020 Dolphins, the 2019 Jets, the 2018 Bears, the 2017 Jaguars, and the 2016 Giants. That year, every team went up by at least 3 wins. The Patriots went up by 3 wins. Dolphins went up by 5. Jets went up by 3. Bears went up by 7. Jags went up by 7. Giants went up by 7. So you spend big in free agency, you win a lot more games that year. The following year.
Did you see Michael Nania's response to that? It was like, okay, what happens the next year? Right. What does that look like?
Yeah. So it was like Miami loses 1, Jets lose 5, Chicago loses 4, Jacksonville loses 5, Giants lose 8. We'll see what happens to New England this year. I did not see Nania's response to that.
That's it. Like, that's the Michael Nania. I mean, look, and I don't know who originally wrote everything, but Nania replied to somebody saying, "Yeah, did you take a look at the following year?
Was it good or bad?"
It was that was what it was. So I
think that was his initial. Oh no,
yeah.
way.
And maybe Nania retweeted it. I don't know, but that's what I was referring to.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
Yeah, man. So what do you think about this DK Metcalf? So now people are pivoting to DK Metcalf. And the reason is because it looks like Seattle, because they got rid of Russell Wilson and Wagner, that maybe they're in rebuild mode. But I don't think they are. I mean, DK Metcalf is 24 years old, and he's on a $4 million contract this year. Granted, you're going to have to pay him next year, but it's still a $4 million year for DK Metcalf. So I don't see it. Do you think he's really on the market?
I wouldn't do it. Not for us. Like, if you said, hey, you can get him for number 10, sure, I would do that. You're not going to get him for just number 10. They're not trading DK Metcalf for their original pick back. Like, they can franchise tag DK Metcalf for the next 2 years, and it's going to be way more affordable. So I would not do that. Apparently, they're possibly in on Watson. And then maybe you say, like, okay, they can use that 9 and 10 pick to get Watson. I don't know. I don't think DK actually gets moved. And if he does, it's going to be way more than I want to spend on him.
Yeah. Well, now, would you do this? This is where I come in. Like, so there was a couple options. One was number 10 for DK and Noah Fant, or number 10 for DK and a second. Like, they have like one of these new seconds that they got from Denver, for 40s, 50s. I think they're like in the 50s. I could look, but
I mean, if you could do that, yeah, I would do that. Why would they give up DK and a pick or a player? Like, DK is the gem.
Yeah, but he's not worth 10, maybe. You know what I mean? But I think he is.
I don't know. I think he definitely is. If you can get a 24-year-old stud receiver, I think he's definitely worth 10. I think he's worth more than that. I would say 2 firsts. Like, he's worth every bit of Jamal, every bit of Jalen Ramsey. Maybe not as much as Khalil Mack, or around the same, maybe. 24 is his prime. Mack was probably like 27.
Yeah, but having a top 10 pick is still a top 10 pick. When they traded for Ramsey or what's his name? The guy.
Mack.
I was thinking the safety that the Steelers traded for. What the hell's his name?
Minka.
Fitzpatrick. Yeah. I was going to say Fitzpatrick. So, but those picks were traded when you didn't know what the pick is. So there's value to knowing it's a 10 overall pick. But still, I think when it comes down to it, again, DK Metcalf is $4 million this year, and he's a stud wide receiver. Like, why? Why would you get rid of him? That's that's the kind of guy you're hoping to get in the draft.
And you mentioned you don't think they're in rebuild mode. I agree, because I don't think Pete Carroll hangs around for a rebuild. I really don't. I think he's either the oldest or the second oldest to Belichick. I don't know which one's older, but I would be shocked if they traded away DK, because I think they're going to go after someone. I don't know if it's Willis, if they think he's like the next guy because they could just have him fall in their lap, or if it's maybe another quarterback out there like a Derek Carr, or I don't know. I have no idea, but I would go after Mariota if I was them, I think.
Mariota. Well, didn't they have Mariota for a little bit? He was up. Oh no, he was Raiders, right? He was Raiders.
He was with Raiders last year too. I think Mariota is a good quarterback. I really do.
I think they love Geno Smith. They're gonna roll it back. They liked what they saw last year with Geno.
I could see that. I put it this way: I could see a situation where Carroll stays for the year, just runs it back with Geno. If they do well, great. If not, then he hangs it up after next year and turns the keys over to whoever. Or maybe he just wants to keep coaching and coach forever. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, maybe he's not tired at all. He's like, screw yeah, let's do it.
He's got a ton of energy. He's one of the most energetic coaches I seen in the NFL.
Dude, he's still running around high five and he's everything. So like, dude, I know we all kind of like label him like, he's getting old. He doesn't look old. I mean, he looks physically like he's gotten older, of course, but he doesn't look like he's getting tired. He might be like, yeah, dude, let's start over. I want to build a whole new team. I got ideas. You know what I mean?
He doesn't look like Coughlin. Like Coughlin looked tired.
Yes. He looked tired. Like even Bill Parcells looked tired.
Yeah, you could just honestly, that's how I felt about Brady after his press conference in the playoffs. I was like, man, this is the first time I've really seen Brady tired.
You know he's back.
I know he's back.
What an asshole.
It's crazy. It just I gets me hot because like I'm pretty irritated that the Jets we were going to target some of their free agents and now they're probably going back.
Totally. Right. Like even like Alex Kappa and obviously Godwin got franchise tag, but even like the cornerback, like they'll probably want to stay now, willing to take less and everything. So listen, Go Hangard has a question. This is something that I see talked about a lot, but again, I don't even know where this came from. He says, I actually think we are getting rid of McGovern. Otherwise, I don't see why Linderbaum was interviewed if we aren't thinking new center. And then you have obviously the Jensen talk. Do you think we're looking to toss up the offensive line even more than it is? I mean, where do you stand on that?
Yeah, I think we're definitely in the market for a center. I think there's a reason why we were linked to Jensen. We were linked to Bozeman. We interviewed Linderbaum. We had Zion Johnson taking snaps at center at the Senior Bowl. I can follow the breadcrumbs. They don't like McGovern.
I mean, look,
I think they're okay with it, but I think you were onto something when it was like, hey, McGovern's not sticking up for his quarterback. I think that's what it is.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
They want feisty animals in there. Why aren't you standing up for your quarterback? That's interesting. Now, I think if they are in the market for a center, I think that it's probably to replace him next year. That's what I think. I don't think that it would be this year, but that's an interesting point, man. And look, you could equally make the same point that those breadcrumbs you're following were laid there purposely for Joe Douglas to make you think something. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's like, I mean, we have a center. It's one of the only positions that we have. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know.
But there's enough smoke around it that like it feels like they're looking for a center.
Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. That's an interesting point. And I didn't hear that yet. Like maybe that rubbed them. Like, why aren't you standing up for your quarterback? You're the center. Like you're supposed to be, everybody's following your lead. You're the vet on that line.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like you're the guy who's been starting in the NFL. Well, obviously Morgan Moses too, but still you're the leader of the offensive line. If you're not doing anything, that's an interesting point. I'm real curious, man.
He's supposed to be the leader.
He's the leader, right? What do you think about free agency? So it starts tomorrow. If you had your choice, first free agent signing, who is it? And then we'll see what you think if that's realistic or not.
I would call Marcus Williams, 100%. Throw the bag at him. Yep, get him. I don't know how much you'd have to get him at. I saw a tweet today that it was like 12 to 15, and I'm fine with that. I think we have enough money. The cap's going to go up. He's young enough. He's a good enough player. Yeah, go out and get him. Who else are you going to get? I mean,
yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking right guard. That's my
like Tomlinson. Tomlinson's the one I would.
Yeah, it makes so much sense. Like, not for nothing. Like, not only does he know our system, like our coaches were his coaches a year ago. So that all depends on how the relationship was between John Benton and Lincoln Tomlinson. If they were tight, like, look, because McDaniel's gone now too. Like McDaniel was the guy that that was with what's his name, Kyle Shanahan the most. So he was kind of the leader, even
He
though
was the run game coordinator, wasn't
he
he?
was. But I read into that. They said that he was kind of a little bit more than LaFleur was as far as the creation of the schemes and all that kind of stuff. Whether or not that's true, but him staying was definitely a major factor in like why I would be concerned that Laken Tomlinson wouldn't come to us. But now that he's in Miami, they're probably going to take a swing for him too. But he's not in San Fran, so I can see Laken Tomlinson leaving. But that would be my first call, dude. You're the guy we want.
You're probably right, because I do want him. So maybe you make that your first call, and then you have, like, realistically, Marcus Williams is probably going to make the rounds. So if you can convince Tomlinson, then you can get Marcus Williams after. So you're probably right. I think right guard's more important. I don't want to have to fix the offensive line in the first round of the draft.
Yeah, I mean, and if we do, fine, but I don't want to have to. I don't want that to be like we need it. We have a glaring hole. Brett Activated says, how are we going to stop the run? Where are the linebackers at? So what do you think we're going to do in linebacker? Do you think we're going to take care of that in free agency, or do you think we're going to take a swing at Bobby Wagner? Or you think we're good? We're going to roll it back with our young guys and CJ Mosley and maybe grab somebody in the draft. What do you think is going to happen there?
I think we'll add someone of a Jared Davis type level contract in free agency, and I think we target it in the draft for sure. I do think we try to approach CJ Mosley next offseason and see if he'll restructure, and if he will, we'll keep him. If not, we'll cut him. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Foyesade Alakun, the linebacker from Atlanta, is going to be a hot name. I don't think that Bobby Wagner's coming here. I think at his age, he's probably going to go to like the Rams. I think he's going to try and smite like the Seahawks organization, whether it's the Rams or the 49ers.
Yeah, right. And like that's the thing too. Guys do like to stay in division and kind of make the team that cut them pay.
Yeah,
they like that. That's definitely got value. YTgo says, I think McGovern isn't being looked at to be cut, but to be moved outside. I don't like the idea of cutting him just to sign a guard for the same amount of money in free agency. Do you think there's the possibility, like last year we talked a lot about it when we were all, horned up for Creed Humphrey. Do you think there's that possibility of, grabbing a center and bouncing McGovern to right guard? Do you think that that's a route that we would legitimately go?
I mean, maybe. We like the versatility of our guys, so having McGovern have the experience as a starting center is nice. I don't know. I go back to, Zach getting hit twice in the Patriot game and McGovern not doing anything, and that's sort of where I'm at with it. I think if they're looking at a center, I don't think it's to move McGovern to guard.
Yeah, I don't know. I find it. I mean, look, McGovern can be cut, and I think it's what, like $9 million? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's just it. If they're predicting Jensen and Bozeman to get $10 million a year on a 3 or 4 year deal, I would take Bozeman for 3 or 4 years at $10 million a year. You're only paying $1 million more than McGovern, and you get a guy that's younger.
Yeah, and he might stick up for your quarterback. But you know what's messed up about that one play in the Patriots game when Zach Wilson, that was the dirtiest, there wasn't even a flag on that play, but that was on our sideline and nobody stood up, not even the coach. Nobody ran over there like, hey, no one. So what was that? What do you think?
I hope this is not something we're talking about in 2 years from now, because this is a conversation. If there's something there, like maybe there's a personality trait or something that just, maybe doesn't get guys to rally behind him. I don't know what it would be, but maybe there is some kind of disconnect. I hope we're not talking about it, because it was weird. I did notice it.
It was weird, man. Now, I don't know. It could have just been a moment. Everybody kind of got taken by surprise. It could just be a moment, but it's worth looking at because there were other times that something could have been done. Somebody could have been stood up for, and it's there. Now, Zach Wilson doesn't have that reputation of being disliked by his team. So I don't know what that is. And he's a rookie, so you got to take whatever lumps, like somebody put in the comments, they got tired of him holding the ball too long. That might be accurate.
I could definitely see that.
But he's a fucking rookie. You gotta help him. You gotta be talking to him and working with him. You can't just be mad at him. That's not going to get anybody anywhere. But maybe like the Connor McGovern thing, maybe he's all disgruntled and grumpy and nobody likes him. Maybe so that's going on and the line just doesn't respond. I don't know. But either way, they gotta fix that. That's a big
Yeah.
one. I think Lake and Tomlinson would be real good for that. And if they
Mhm.
do switch centers, like you said, if they're just going to cut McGovern and bring in Bozeman, same price almost, and you get a younger player, just change it up, fresh,
Mhm.
that could be something. But I think, grabbing a third round center, fourth round center would be good too. There's a couple. Lindstrom leads the pack after
Mhm.
Linderbaum, but
Yep.
dude, I'm telling you, like people think you got to get offensive linemen in the first round. That's not the case. Look at all the guys that we want to pay
No.
this. They're all third, fifth round picks. Like that's where you get them. They're all
Yeah.
out there. Let's see. So, do you think we're bringing back Morgan Moses? Or you think that's just gone?
I think it's done. I think he's going to get more money from someone else, and we want to bring back George Fan, and we have to hope that McGovern or not McGovern, Becton, is the guy. So unfortunately, I do think Moses is gone. I would like to see us retain, like find out like early tomorrow morning that Berrios comes back, Morgan Moses comes back. Cause like, why let these guys hit the open market? Like other teams are snatching guys up like real quick. Are we going to be able to replace them that easily?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just a little worried that like we let them go and we can't find a comparable like replacement for him.
Yeah, I mean, look, I like Berrios. Like Joe Douglas said in his combine presser, he said, "Look, you want to keep guys around that do things the right way."
Mm-hmm.
And then he was talking about Berrios. So, is that worth a little bit more? I mean, look, what I'm hoping, Ryan, is that Joe Douglas, has had really upfront, open conversations with guys like Berrios and said, "Look, I'm at this number. Why don't you go out?"
Jensen 3-year deal.
Who? Bucks.
Is that right? Jensen 3 years, $39 million. Holy smokes!
Jesus.
13 million a year.
13 million. That's about right.
Wow.
Oh wow. So there you go. Well, so maybe he had a conversation with Berrios. Said, "Look, here's where I'm at. Go out there, see what you get. Just promise me you'll give me the chance to match it if I want. And so if somebody's going to give him $1 million more, he goes, okay, I can match that kind of a thing." And they're talking like that. That would be my hope, because Berrios probably does want to go out there and see what his value is. It's his first time in free agency. They probably do. But so Jensen is off the board, everybody. Ryan Jensen, 3 years, $39 million, $13 million a year. Now we can put that one to bed. One more guy off the table. So how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, $13 million a year. I'm not necessarily looking to get Ryan Jensen. I'm not going to lie. If I'm trading for someone, or if not, if I'm replacing McGovern, I want to get younger at the position. But apparently, Joe Douglas, obviously scouted him in his time in Baltimore. He's a nasty kind of lineman. I think Douglas does like that. I think he wants some angry guys on the offensive line. It kind of sucks, and I think it means that Bozeman, his price just went up too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what did you think? You were thinking like 10 million for him?
Yeah, from what I saw on Spot Track, they were saying 3 years, 10 million a year for Jensen, 4 years, 10 million a year for Bozeman. But now I think Bozeman's probably going to get, at least between 10 and 13. I don't know if he gets 13.
Yeah, I just wonder where if Joe Douglas is. This is the only thing I have a slight concern with. I wonder if his valuations are accurate.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Are you super low? Are you the lowest guy? Like, we're the Jets. We got to still overpay a little bit. And if you don't think that, then
I think he knows that, but I think he doesn't want to overpay. I think he told us, Robert Saleh told us, we're building this thing through the draft. We're going to build it the right way, from the ground up. And I think they're serious. I think that's the way you have to do it. You get a bunch of draft picks, a bunch of young guys in here. You have to hit on the picks, and you have a bunch of cap. But that's the way to do it. You bring in the free agents. It doesn't necessarily always work out.
Right. We got 4 top 40 picks, man. That's 4 starters, potentially 5, that should come in with an immediate impact. And let's see how that goes. That would change everything. So Hawk says, Ryan, you should be worried. We're fucking up big time. Do you agree? How are we messing up? Free agency didn't start yet. These are their own players. We can't
we haven't. Well, so it's Cooper. It's, I guess it's really just Cooper now, right? Like no one else, like everyone else is getting re-signed by their teams. We're not allowed to talk to them.
Right.
I mean, maybe he's upset that we're not, bringing back Berrios yet or something along those lines, but there's nothing the Jets could have done right now.
Right. That's the thing. Like, we're not effing up. I mean, look, dude, I got to say, as much as I like Amari Cooper, and I do, paying him $20 million, that's the reason that Dallas got rid of him.
Yeah.
Right? Like, let's just be clear here. There was only a handful of teams willing to do it. And like Ryan said, chances are they were the only team that didn't ask Dallas to eat a portion of the contract. Like we definitely did. We either wanted a restructure or they were paying a portion of it, and they didn't want to. So they traded him for a fifth just to get rid of him. So that's the clear.
I think they would have, if they had the option, I think they would have kept him, though. I think they would have kept him and they would have cut Zeke. Although I heard at the last game of the season, did you hear this? That Amari Cooper called Dak Prescott the Black Kirk Cousins?
I heard that. What was that all about?
I guess he didn't think very highly of him. Like, oh, you lose in a big spot, kind of like Kirk does. That's always his knock. I think that's what he was getting at. But like, it's not the best thing to call your quarterback.
No, that's kind of on the same level as the center not protecting your quarterback. Very similar.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. I would say it's same amount of angst possibly.
So Fat Gandalf says maybe JD's valuations are correct, but the rest of the league is nuts. Well, and look, there's logic to that. I mean, when you look at these, why do you think the Bears traded Khalil Mack? Because of his contract. Why do you think the Vikings want to get out of Daniel Hunter? Because he's $26 million this year. Even with a trade, they're going to have to eat some of that. I mean, I don't know how much of that is dead, but like, dude, $26 million. That's what happens when teams think they're going to win right now and they keep pushing things. That's what happens. Eventually, it all comes to roost. It's like it's just the way that it is. And Joe Douglas doesn't want to get in that situation. He just finished paying for Max. Bullshit. So I don't know.
Danielle Hunter this year, if you trade for him, would be let's see.
How much?
Like $20 million.
Yeah.
So it's not crazy because after the $20 million year, next year, he's only like $5 million. But you're gonna have to restructure his deal most likely. So he probably gets restructured when he's traded. Danielle Hunter is someone I would consider, but there's so many good edge rushers in this draft. I don't know if I want to give up what's needed to give up for Danielle Hunter.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing. It's like when you look at a team like the Chargers and they just traded for Khalil Mack, they don't have one of those top picks to get the pick of the litter of the strong edge rusher class. We do. So they needed to do something if they wanted that. Like chances are the guys at the bottom of the first, it's going to be slim pickings, right? They're already going to be poached. Like the edge rusher position is going to be ransacked and you're going to be stuck with whatever's left. And they didn't want to do that. Now we, on the other hand, have we're getting the fourth best player in the draft, if depending how you look at it.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
Toy Sub Videos says, Greenbean, you were a Yaboa guy last year. How do you feel? I love Yaboa. I think he's developing nicely. You know what I mean? He was on the practice squad, came in, was very impactful on specials, got some offensive snaps, made good. Yeah, I think he's part of the mix. Sure. I still think we got to grab one or more tight ends this year because I'll tell you, the rest of the batch is dookie. And as much as I liked Wesco, I don't know what the hell's up with that guy.
Yeah, no, we need two tight ends, even with Yaboa. Hopefully he produces, but definitely need two.
So Mr. Terrible says, Douglas blows. I knew during the draft McPherson was the guy at kicker for a decade. This fool took bums like Sherwood and Nasruddin, fired Douglas. So they used a 5th round pick on a kicker, which is unheard of, for the most part. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you can say what you want, but we don't know what Sherwood and Nasruddin. I mean, Mr. Terrible, that's a terrible take. It's a terrible take.
The name suits it. No, look, I understand what he's getting at because McPherson seems like a boss. He's like, I'll see you guys in the NFC or AFC Championship game. Like, what kicker says that? Like, this guy's crazy. And it would be nice to have that position solved. I'm not going to crucify Douglas because it's not like he hasn't tried to get a kicker. We've had, 7 kickers in the last 3 years or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the way he's going about it. I know. I think that he has looked at kicker as like an also. Oh yeah, I got to get a kicker. Like when it should be a priority. Like you should be locking down your kicker. They
score the most points on your team.
Yeah, always. So Pinheiro was fine. Some people don't like his low kicks and all that, but I don't know. I think he's good. I mean, we got to re-sign him. He's a free agent too. We didn't re-sign him. I would like to see a little burst of our own guys getting signed. Berrios, Kyle Phillips, Pinheiro. Come on, let's. I mean, we got McDermott, Will Parks. I don't know. Even LaMarcus Joyner. That doesn't get me too excited. I like
Joyner. That was an underrated bring back. Him and Will Parks. Those two guys I like a lot. I think the McDermott one didn't really tickle me the right way. It was kind of like, he's just a guy. I mean, you need depth, but I think Will Parks and Joyner specifically is one that I really like. Could you imagine if Will Parks leads Tyrann Mathieu to New York?
You think that's really? Are they that close?
I guess so. I mean, I think that was the DMs they were going back and forth, or the Twitter messages.
Oh, all right. I mean,
yeah, it's interesting.
Look, if you got Mathieu instead of Marcus Williams, are you good with that?
I think it's a consolation prize. I think you still go for Marcus Williams first. I think Matthew's probably a little. I think his best days are behind him, where I think Marcus Williams could continue to get better, or at least maintain the same for a significant 5 years or whatever. But Honey Badger, I wanted him so bad when he was leaving the Cardinals. I thought we were getting the Flying Tigers. It was going to be Jamal and Mo Claiborne and there was like 3 or 4 of them. It was like in our secondary.
I know. Jamal. We have lofty dreams. So, look, and that's the thing. If I was the general manager, I would put things like that together. Maybe not that, but you got to think like that. It's like we can do special things and you can figure out how to do it. I would have had us some Super Bowls, Ryan. I know it.
Well, how about this? What do you think about this? Do you think you're going to see more tandems of quarterback receiver from college go to the NFL, like a Burrow and Chase? Do you think there's a higher likelihood that someone like New England takes Jameis? Well, I guess Mac Jones didn't play with Jameson Williams, but something along those lines. You see, I don't know, maybe the Jaguars take, is it Justin Ross from Clemson?
Yeah.
Maybe they do that at some point in the draft. Do you see any value in having that rapport with your quarterback?
Dude, let me tell you, I've said it a bunch of times. I don't see why more teams don't do that. I mean, they just spent 2 or 3 years together. They know each other's tendencies, their strengths, their weaknesses. They have a relationship. Why don't more teams do that? So I think, yes, it's a copycat league. We just saw Burrow and Jamar Chase light it up. So I think we're going to see some more of that. I mean, they tried it to some degree in Jacksonville with Travis Etienne, but we didn't get a chance to see that one. But I'm
excited to see Etienne.
More of that.
I want to see Etienne.
These fucking webcam chats. I'll tell you. Come on, get out of here.
Yeah, I've been getting those in mine too.
Yeah.
They don't even take you to a good spot. I've been clicking all. No, I'm kidding.
Bullshit. I know. Every time I click on
it. You can't tell if I have pants on.
I'm just blocking. So, guys, I want to remind you, tomorrow will be the first ever live Green Beans Jets pod. We are going to go live at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. So we are together during the window. When it opens, we'll be hanging out. We'll hang out for 2 hours or so. Instead of me releasing a podcast on Monday morning, we're just going to go live instead. That'll be my last live stream from Sedona. I'm leaving Sedona, Ryan. I'm out of here.
Yeah. Dude, Sedona was beautiful. GreenBean and I got to have breakfast together or lunch. I guess it's like a lunch, I guess. Brunch. We had brunch.
Well, did we have huevos rancheros? I think maybe somebody did, right? No, maybe
someone
not.
Probably did. I mean, we had that very awkward, 6-year-old girl serving us food. It was really uncomfortable.
We did. She was
super uncomfortable.
Yeah, that was weird. She was no exaggeration, maybe 8 years old.
She was the oldest.
She was taking our orders. She was serving us. 8 years old, and she wasn't that good either.
Weird. Yeah. It was awkward.
She kept forgetting shit.
Wait a second.
You asked for
a waitress.
Yeah, we asked for cream and sugar for the coffee. She brought the cream, and then 2 minutes later, we're like, can we have sugar? Yeah, but it was good. It was a great time. I'm just glad we got, that was my first real hang with your wife
Whoa.
and everything. So it was
Hey,
nice.
Google, turn on the studio.
What's that?
I got to change that. At 12 o'clock, my things click off. I got them set to a timer so I don't waste energy.
So, all right, guys, well, we're gonna wind this down. It's midnight. Hold on. I fucking left my truck running the whole time. I can't do that with $8 gas. So, guys, I want to thank you all for popping in. I want to thank Ryan especially. I just threw a stone out there, and anyway, I had no expectations, but I appreciate you coming on. Again, guys, I want to remind you tomorrow, 11:30 a.m., we will be going live. So we're together during the window, and we'll hang out as long as we need to. But it's going to be a good time, guys. Don't believe the hype. Don't buy into the rumors and get upset. But Ryan, why don't you tell everybody what you got going on?
I'll be live tomorrow night at 8 o'clock for my live call-in show. I'll actually do 2 hours of call-ins where I'm not going to, maybe I won't, I might give my thoughts for like 10 minutes. It depends what happens. And then I want to hear everyone's thoughts because it seems like a lot of people want to blow off steam.
Right. And we're going to need to. And that's the thing. So I'm going to help them get ramped up, maybe try to keep them as calm as I can. But what I predict is that the Jets are going to do nothing day one. So just brace yourself. Brace yourselves. But my heart tells me Laken Tomlinson, Allen Robinson, day one, agreements made.
Would love it.
And then we just got to wait till Wednesday and see if they actually really sign with us. So,
We'll
but
see.
thank you. Yeah, thank you, Ryan. So don't forget, Ryan's going live. 2 hours of call-ins on Monday. That's going to be awesome. I'll definitely check in for that. That'll be my last night in Sedona, and I'll relax with Ryan and all you guys. And then I'll leave Sedona the next morning and go wherever the hell. I think I'm going to go park in the desert for a week. We call it boondocking. So we're going to do some of that. But guys, thanks for popping in for this impromptu Sunday night gripe. It was a great time, man. And I think that we understand each other better now. And I'm really grateful. Don't forget, guys, I put something in the chat for you, or I'm sorry, in the description for you guys. It's legit. I've been using it for years. It's a gas app called Get Upside. If you click it and use my promo code, we both get 15 cents off a gallon on our next thing. And I use it. I only go to places that have Get Upside, and I save anywhere from 5 to 20 cents a gallon. And it works, man. I mean, I probably collected maybe $2,000 in the past 2 years, 3 years or so. But I drive a lot, so there's that. But that is my gift to you guys. All you got to do is click it, use my promo code, and we're off and running. And in this time, I just want to help. And that's what I use to help me, and I want to give it to you guys. And you can support my Patreon. Link is there, too. It's a lot of fun. And we have all kinds of weekly get-togethers and shit. It's a good time. But, guys, don't forget, like JR says, smash that like button. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. And with that, we will see you next time. Ryan, thanks again, buddy.
Thank you so much for having me on, dude.
All right.
I think he's going to be day one, a violent vertical edge setter.
We compete today. I see some gas on the edge. Get that mindset.